when you're facing a quarterback, there's not a lot of film on Brandon. There's not a lot of how do you kind of approach it? What do you look for? What do you expect? Preseason, college?
We really will study the game he played against Arizona and his preseason games. So you see how the offense looks with him, and you see how the offense looks without him. They had a bye week, so now they can probably adjust to his talents a little bit better. But you study every available tape you have on a guy and kind of predict a little bit of how you think he'll use him.
Billy, do you get any input?
Just to follow, what have you seen from him for a little bit of time?
He's a good pocket passer. He's got a great presence. He's very tall, at 6'7". He can really see the field, and that's where that height really comes in to play with a lot of these pocket quarterbacks. And throws a nice ball. He sees the field well for a rookie.
Billy, do you get any input on?
Can you use Earl who play with him, as a resource?
Absolutely, absolutely. We got a couple guys that have worked with him and played with him, and you pick their brain a little bit. They practice them. They know their ins and outs. They've seen them enough that they know what their strengths and weaknesses are. So you use some of that. At the end of the day, the film really shows you the most. And the bye week is a little tricky, and they get to tweak it the way they want to have it pursue.
Hey, Bill, Mike's old came up from the Giants. Schematically, how similar to Tampa Bay from you saw this?
He's pretty similar. I was with Mike in New York, Top Coffin's first year, so I know Mike well, and I think he's got a big history in that offense. So there is some similarities there, but Coach Shiano has his twist on it also. So there's a group. It's not the same, but it's got some elements that are similar.
How did Earl look last week, and are there more things you're asking him to do now than maybe a couple of weeks ago?
No, Earl's got the same load that every other safety does, and he's making his rookie mistakes, and he's also making some nice plays. So, like all of them, Earl's a young man that's growing into the position, and some weeks he's going to make more mistakes than others, but he's coming along.
No, I don't remember Cedric playing a ton of nose during the preseason. I mean, maybe he didn't exclude any athletic. Is that accurate that he didn't really start playing nose until?
We've got different packages that move him in and out of end and nose, so he has played both. All our defensive linemen are actually trained at end and nose, so they can move in and out. Some of the different looks that we present people, take an end and put it down in nose and vice versa. So they're trained at all three, and Ced's played plenty of nose, maybe not in the regular season games yet, but he's had his share. Yeah.
How is he? I mean, I would have to assume he's coming quite far along. He's never really played that position, but he seems to have adapted when he's in there.
Absolutely. Ced's really, he's got a lot of contacts at the ball. I mean, he's getting to the ball carrier quite often for a defensive lineman in a two-gap scheme. So we're happy with the progress that he's making as a defensive line, not only nose but and/or nose. He's in great shape. He's all in practices hard every single day, and we get a lot out of Ced. We're happy with him.
Bill, what kind of a step was the last game, the Giants game, for the defense?
It was a big confidence booster. Obviously, the wins are always going to boost your confidence in the scheme, but whether it was a win or a loss, when you look at the tape, with a microscope like we do, you can see the techniques moving forward. We can see the defensive linemen playing more consistent. It really is, I say it, I know every week up here, but the more consistent play we get out of the technique part of the defense, the more plays will come our way. I thought that the defensive backs did a great job on the deep ball. There was 11 balls thrown up, and I believe they only caught one. There was an interference, but we knew that was a challenge for us going in, and the guys responded. That has to do with some of the rush too. We didn't come out of there with the sacks that you might say the sack numbers, but Eli chose to throw the ball away and get 3 intentional groundings, and he chose to throw it into coverage a couple times instead of taking the sack. So although only 1 sack showed up on the stat sheet, we believe that the deep, we had some pressure on him.
Billy, how dangerous is Vincent Jackson?
Excuse me?
How dangerous is Vincent Jackson?
Oh, he's a good one. He's a perennial Pro Bowler. He's a big man that can run and very physical. Catches the ball great, run after, catch. So we've got a challenge in him. He's an all-star.
Billy, Nate Allen's taken a lot of heat in the city over the last few years. Really, he's been benched a few times. He's lost his job. The last few weeks, it seems like he had a couple consistent games. Where do you see make progress maybe early in the season to the last quarter?
I think Nate's confidence is growing in 2 places, in himself and in the scheme. I think he's getting better with his eyes and where he places them, which makes him in a better position to make his plays now. When you, as a safety position, is a little unique in that if your eyes aren't right and you get yourself out of position, now those tackles put yourself in a bad position to make a tackle, and you miss more. When you line up right and you put your eyes in the right spot, it takes you to the place you need to be to make the plays. And I think Nate each week is getting a little bit better and a little bit better of fundamentals of where to place his eyes. He's putting himself in position to make tackles. We're working hard on tackling every day, and I think that's helping. I mean, every day, there's not a day goes by where we don't hammer the fundamentals of tackling in each position group, and I think it's slowly paying off for us.
What will still happen once Patrick comes back? Do you have a plan as far as?
Well, we'll see to what degree he comes back. He's got a unique injury that you got to deal with how much he can play, and we'll roll him in and probably have a little bit of a rotation rolling until we see where Patrick is.
So the rotation, will it involve Chung, or is it still going to be Allen?
Well, with Chung being injured, again, it comes down to the injury factor. It'll be either or. If Chung is not healthy enough to go every snap, but partially, then we'll rotate with him. If not, then we'll slide in with Nate probably.
But when he is 100%, I mean, would you like to eventually, I guess, when you're getting at, have two safeties that are out there every snap, or most snaps?
Yes.
And is that the plan?
Yeah. Patrick also doubles as a nickel with a high point, so we've got a lot of position flexibility there. But yeah, we're just going to continue to work to find the best 11 to put on the field the most amount of times. And when there's no separation, then we'll rotate. If there's separation, we won't.
It looked like Brandon Graham had a couple of hurries Sunday. I mean, is it a challenge to try to get him on the field, or are you getting him on the field as much as you want?
No, he's getting about 20 to 25 snaps a game, depending on the way it goes. And we'd like to do that more. But him and Trent are rotating in. We love when Trent's in there, and Brandon's doing a good job. So it's just a little bit of a feel. Everybody plays who suits up. So we do have everybody getting reps. So we don't, we have some strength in the fourth quarter. But Brandon gives us a great pass rushing push.
Were you guys blitzing more maybe late third quarter, fourth quarter, try to get pressure on Eli? Because it seemed like once you did get pressure, that's kind of when he was throwing his interceptions.
Yeah, we were trying to just keep him off balance. It wasn't all pressure. It wasn't, again, I come back to sometimes you present pressure but don't pressure. Sometimes you don't look like you're coming but you do come. And sometimes you show it and bring it. And you just try to keep him guessing and on, nervous, and sometimes you're showing pressure but only rush 3. And it just trying to keep him off balance was the key. And some of it was pressure.
I guess some of that, I guess it depends on the quarterback, obviously, because Peyton can do that too, and you probably pick it up and stuff. But obviously, you guys are facing a rookie this week in Glennon. Do you kind of see like you guys doing the same type of thing?
Well, Arizona pressured Glennon a lot and really didn't get to him a lot. So there's pluses and minuses to the pressure. And I think you mix it in, and again, the key is keeping whoever that quarterback is, whether it's an Eli Manning or a Glennon, you keep them off balance, and that's where you get the advantage defensively. So I think it's multiple looks that you give them that works as much, if not more, than pressure. Do we want to hit them? Absolutely. We want to get pressure on the quarterback. Love to do that with a 4-man rush. But keeping them off balance is the key.
Are you tempted at all to try to get Boykin on the field even more than you are?
I think he's doing a great job today. He's really grown. He can even get better at it. There's a lot of little things that he's growing into the position. When you ask a man to go out the corner and the nickel, you're really asking a lot. And I think right now we're growing Brandon in the right way. And I think to kind of ruin that development or that growth a little bit by doubling. And I'll have to do the corners outside. They're doing a nice job. Okay.
Brother makes some nice minutes Sunday. How is his development?
I think it's like the group. It's the comfort and the communication within the new scheme is growing each week, and that allows players to play with more confidence, which means they play faster. And the faster the defense can play, the more plays we make. And you play faster when you have confidence in you know exactly what you're supposed to do. And I think that's where the speed of the defense is increased a little bit this week, because I think the guys played a little more. Just 1 week more into it, where they're more confident in playing a fast.
Billy,
probably is
slants. What are some of the ways you guys can better defense?
Well, we went into the game take away the vertical. Right? In our zones, we play deep to short. You can't take away the vertical and be tight on the slant, and we've got to be closer on some of those slants. There was some of those zones we were playing a little softer. Some of the mans we needed to be tighter. So not everyone is the same answer, but when we play and focus on the vertical first, and then we'll come down from there and stop plays, that's kind of where the slants, they knew they had them, so they kept going to them. And that's okay. We'll tackle. I thought tackled the slants a lot better than we had in the past. So you can't take away all of it. You just got to kind of pick and choose through coverage calls on what you're willing to give up and what you're not. We can be tighter on those, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, that's what they get.
You were okay with it because you guys weren't giving up.
A couple of them. They were tackling them well, and we were playing with the right leverage, and sometimes there was some help coming and didn't get there quite quick enough. There's no quick throws.
When you look at their last 5 drives, I think it was punt, interception, and ended up in Dallas. Was that stretch after they took the lead? Those next 5 drives, was that kind of the first time you've really seen over an extended stretch like this defense, the way you kind of envisioned it? It was really a consistent stretch and going out to stop.
Absolutely, man. I think this was the first fourth quarter that we came together and finished the fourth quarter. And if we'd have stepped up in a couple other games in the fourth quarter, we might have come away with some wins. But we didn't, and we were growing into it. Now, it's a great sign that the guys, they played so hard. I mean, they really did. There's a lot of effort on them. And at the end, they just kept, our guys just kept coming and competing, scrapping, and fighting. And the players made the plays to win the game. There was no scheme adjustment or anything. It was players making plays when it was on the line. And that was exciting.
Bill, what have you learned about how to best deploy Boykin? Some looks you've had him as outside linebacker, bring him as a rusher in some circumstances. So what are you learning about how to best use him?
Within the scheme, Brandon is a very athletic guy. We can bring him from a little bit farther out sometimes in the sky. So that element helps kind of put the quarterback on line a little bit in uncertainty. Is he coming in me? We got to pay attention. That guy was way out there, and I've got this guy right over me that I've got to deal with too. So Brandon brings the speed and athleticism to that nickel spot that we like, and we can drop him and bring him. Sometimes he's the 4th rusher, sometimes he's part of the blitz package. Sometimes we bluff him and drop him back. So we've got a nice little package that we're growing with.
Seems like Bradley Fletcher has a good understanding of how to use his body and use his hands, even if he's beat a little bit to catch up and use that physical element of his game.
The thing that jumped out at me about Fletcher was how calm he was at the ball. There's an art to playing the deep ball, and a lot of it is a calm confidence that you're running with a guy, you're in stride, you're in a good position, and then there's really a timing of when to look back for the ball. And a lot of guys panic at that point, and they don't know when to look back, and there's all kind of contact. Fletcher's very calm on the deep ball. It's a little bit of a veteran that knows how to, I've been here before, and I know when the ball gets here, and I know when to make my play. He did a great job. He had 3 or 4 where he really played the deep ball.
Hey, you think they're less likely to get called from the eye when they kind of have that calmness about them?
Yeah, absolutely. When you see panic, it presents different to the official when they throw the flag more likely. When you're calm and in position and truly playing the ball, they let you play the ball. They really will. They'll allow more contact that way.
So, Bill, you said you want to keep Boykin at the nickel. You also said Sean can move to the slot. Would that just be in dime situations, or would you see a situation Boykin plays outside, Sean's in the slot?
If I wasn't happy with the corner, I guess. The corners are playing pretty well right now. So unless there was a reason to do that, we're really excited about the way they're playing or the way they're throwing into the position, and to undermine that by switching or changing up if the production is still there and the guys are playing well. There's no need to do that. Now we could put Patrick in the time scenario like we talked about. But again, we're constantly striving to get the best 11 on the field as often as we can.
To with that in mind, Billy, is there a way to get both Cedric and Vinny Curry on the field at the same time, or increase Curry's workload?
Yeah, we could. We continue to work Vinny in on the pass rush situation because he's a dynamic, free technique pass rusher, and really does a lot of disruptive things. But yeah, we're constantly talking about reps and increasing in the pass rush.
Okay, good.
Thanks, guys.